No 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl.
I don't.
This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old ass and get you an old bitch out there that can love you old.
Monique tried to tell you, Shannon. She tried to tell you. Hey, what's up there, Skylar? Hey, what's up there, Skylar the Writer? Hey, what's up there, Newsies? I'm Skylar the Writer. And it's so glad, or I'm so, why can't I talk today? I am so glad to be back with you today. And woo, it's today a big news day. Right now, I want to talk about these allegations against former footballer turned sports commentator turned podcaster Shannon Sharpe. Now, as you may know, you may have heard that there are allegations have been brought against Shannon Sharpe by a woman that he used to, I guess, have some sort of relationship with. Her name is Gabrielle Zuniga. Gabrielle has her name has been publicly released. This is not outing information. Um, but yeah, she's basically suing Shannon Sharpe for I believe rape and sexual misconduct. Uh, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to say this on YouTube, but she's suing Shannon Sharpe for sexual assault. We'll put it like that. And it is. It also says here, uh, uh, it's just a lot going on with Shannon. Now, Miss Zuniga is, years younger than Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe is known for liking younger women, I believe typically non-black women on top of that. Not that any of this would be, if proven true, it would be okay, regardless of whatever the age or race of the woman. Assault is assault. It is what it is. And if Shannon Sharpe is in fact guilty of these things, then he should face the fullest extent of the law. I don't understand why there are things like time limits on sexual assault cases. I think that's ridiculous. That goes into a whole separate other thing. Um, but yeah, I believe that there shouldn't be a limit on sexual assault, whether you file something criminal with somebody. But anyway, uh, as we're talking about Shannon Sharpe here, Shannon Sharpe has actually released a pre-recorded statement about the situation and uploaded that to his Twitter. For some reason, the statement it's not the actual recording so much as it seems to be a recording of him recording the statement and like looking off to the side. I don't know. It's a little weird to me. But anyway, let's get into the statement from Shannon Sharpe.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
Okay, so there you go. He, in the statement, Shannon Sharpe speaks about how Tony Busby is the same attorney that went after Jay-Z recently, with a client that claimed that Jay-Z had sexually assaulted her years ago after a VMA show, MTV Video Music Awards show. So it was like some sort of after party. And that case quickly fell apart. And the charges were, or not charges, because it was a civil case, but the civil case was withdrawn. And so Tony Busby is now apparently has a reputation for going after black men for a shakedown. That's what Shannon Sharpe is saying. I'm not too familiar with how many cases Busby has like this, but it's definitely not looking good for his own, or wouldn't look good for his own personal brand if this also turned out to not be true as well. All right, so here we have a statement from Lanny J. Davis. This is counsel for Shannon Sharpe. He's his attorney. And he listened here some of the text messages from Miss Gabrielle Zuniga to him. She says, quote, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're effing me. She says the full word there. You can see it yourself. Um, she also says here later on April or on January 1st, 2025, I know you missed this big juicy ass, 25K for each cheek. So clearly they've been engaging with each other for some period of time. Uh, but Jay Davis says a quote in this statement, quote, this lawsuit filed by Gabrielle Zuniga and orchestrated by her attorney, Tony Busby, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. It is filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations and will not succeed. Uh, this is wild if true. And it said goes on even further to say, in her effort to extract a large financial settlement, Ms. Zuniga presented Mr. Sharpe with a secretly recorded video of a consensual sexual encounter. We believe this video has been heavily edited and taken entirely out of context, crafted to falsely portray a consensual act as non-consensual. Now, and then further, even more to say, Ms. Zuniga has refused to provide a copy of the full unedited version of the recording to Mr. Sharpe's legal team. Shannon, this is not to cast aspersions on his guilt or innocence, but this is like the second time somebody done caught you out there with a recording of yourself. Now, let's be fair. Secretly recording sex with somebody else without their knowledge or permission is dead ass wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. I don't care what the situation is. It is wrong. Um, that said, didn't you say, remember a few months ago where like there was that recording where he accidentally recorded himself having sex with some woman and it was like uploaded. It was like on IG Live or something, and I was getting it in. He was getting it in, but it's like, bro, this seems to keep happening to you in terms of not knowing you're recording or being recorded. I don't know. It could be a coincidence. I'm not saying that something happening more than once means that something fishy is going on, but I am. It is sort of like maybe you need to be doing something a little bit different. I don't know, Shannon. Like what? I don't know. It's just something to think about. Um, but it then goes on to share more more odd text messages from Mrs. Zuniga. Let's go through some of them here. It says, quote, only if you put that baby gravy. I'm sorry, I'd be serious. Because quote, only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever. Wait, what? Let me read this time again. Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want to me. Maybe she meant then you can do whatever you want to me. That's what's throwing me out. Maybe that's a typo there. But that's a text from Zuniga to Shannon on November 23rd, 2023. Another one. I want to put my tongue in your asshole and then marry you. That was a text from Gabrielle to Shannon on January 12th, 2024. First and foremost, if there's one thing Shannon Sharpe ain't gonna do, it's marry a girl. And if he's gonna marry her, he's like, no, Shannon, setting aside the allegations for Shannon, right? Shannon loves them young. That's why Monique clocked his ass during her stop over at Club Shay Shay. Because Shannon is one of those dudes that just wants to just hit it until he gets tired of it and he goes on to the next piece. And he loves these young, typically non-black women. Um, Even though his ass like 50 something years old, he ain't trying to be married. And marriage is not for everybody, right? And that's okay. Um, but yeah, anyways, let's go on. Uh Another text from Shannon. Uh ugh, I'm sorry, text from Gabrielle. Ugh. Quote, that's my daddy. I want you to put a big black baby in me. Mm. That is from Gabrielle on August 6th, 2024. And I'm sorry. Black men, I'm gonna save this comment for the what can you do portion. So I'm gonna save this next comment for that. And so there's just more text messages like that going back and forth between the two. For her part, Gabrielle has released part of a phone conversation with Shannon Sharpe in which she's claiming that Shannon Sharpe is threatening to or in the clip, it sounds like Shannon Sharpe is threatening to choke her and to physically harm her during an argument that they're having. So let's take a listen to this clip.
Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
what? What does that even mean?
You want to be a to me now, so
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
oh Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna choke the out of you when I see you.
Okay, so just without any context from like from the broader conversation, yeah, that does kind of sound a little bad. That does sound bad, not a little bad. It sounds bad. You don't threaten violence on people. However, one, it's an argument between the two of them. That doesn't mean that physical violence has ever taken place between the two of them. But then two, there's a broader you could tell that this is just a piece from a broader call. So it's like, what is the further context of this call? And again, this is not to blame any victims of abuse. You can have just because you can be in an argument and say horrible, mean things, even threaten somebody. That doesn't mean that you have ever or would ever or will ever carry out those threats. Um, it this is not trying to excuse threat. Like, don't threaten people. Like, don't do that. But there's a difference between there's a valley between not a very big valley, but there's a valley between threats and actual violence. But at the same or physical violence, I should say. But at the same time, we sort of have to consider in the broader context the nature of their sexual discussions. You talking about putting a dog leash on me, all like, yeah, the nature of their sexual relationship. One of the theories being floated online is that the whole "I'll choke you when I'll see you" thing was really more of something that they would do in like their version of kinky sex talk. I don't know. Again, we don't have the fuller context of the conversation because it could very well be that this is just how they talk with each other in like a sexual way, or it could also be what it is purported to be by Gabrielle and her team is that this was a threat of violence. This shows a history. This could have shown a history of physical violence and sexual violence. Like we just don't know. Um, but again, off top, just listening to that one bit, it doesn't really sound good for Shannon. Um, but yeah, so right now we're just sort of waiting to gather more evidence, and to see really how this shakes out. Shannon does seem open to talking about it, which is, typically your lawyer is going to tell you to hush up. But so we're just going to see what happens with this news. At the end of the day, it's crazy because there was a whole, I believe it was with Fox Sports when they're having their whole, like the whole major sexual harassment lawsuit going down over there, and that involves some of their on-air talent and including Skip Bayless, who was Shannon's former co-host over there on that show. And Shannon was mentioned in that lawsuit, but it was clear, at least in that lawsuit, that he was not one of the offending parties, right? And he also made sure to clear the air and be like, "Hey, my name is in the lawsuit, but I am not a part of that particular lawsuit. I am not alleged to have done anything wrong." So, for that to have been just a few months ago, to now he is the subject of the lawsuit, it's kind of crazy, right? But anyway, that's that story. Let's get into what you can do, right? So let's get into what we can do with this type of news, and yeah, let's just go on to that. All right, and we've talked about this resource before on the show. If you become a victim of sexual violence, and you know someone else who has been a victim of sexual violence, there are resources that you can go to for help and assistance. And one of the big ones is RAINN. That's RAINN, so two N's. RAINN is the U.S.'s largest anti-sexual violence organization. It was created and operates the National Sexual Assault Hotline in partnership with more than 1,000 local sexual assault service providers. So if you or like I say on their website, quote, if you or someone has been sexually assaulted, help is available. You can chat with them or you can call them. If you want to call, you can give them a call at 1-800-656-4673. Again, if you want to call for help, that number is 1-800 656-4673. Or you can chat online at that's online.rain.org. Again, that's online.rain.org. And so if you're somewhere where you can't talk on the phone or you don't want to talk on the phone with somebody, you can just chat online. They have crisis support services. So there's also a Spanish online chat hotline. So if you speak Spanish, Espanol, there's a Spanish hotline for that. Here is the Spanish page. So, you can go to that there. There's even one for members of the military, right? So there's the DoD Safe Helpline, that's the Department of Defense Safe Helpline, a service for members of the U.S. military and their families, operated by RAINN for the Department of Defense. So they have their online chat and their telephone hotline. So if you are a member of the military and you would like to report sexual assault, or whether it's yourself or someone that you can call 877-995-5247. Again, that is 877-995-5247. And that is for the RAINN Safe uh, DoD Safe Helpline for victims of sexual assault. And it's operated by RAINN for the Department of Defense. So you're not talking to someone in the military, you're talking to somebody from the RAINN organization when you call that number, or you can do their online chat, which this is what the online chat looks like for members of the military when you go to that DoD Safe Helpline. And there's resources for other crimes as well. So like there's domestic and dating violence hotline. So there's the National Domestic Violence Hotline here that they provide links and things to, right? So um, here's a good security alert. So there's stuff like that. Online chat hotline for there. There's also the telephone hotline. So if you're a victim of domestic and dating violence, you can contact 1-800-799-SAFE. Again, that's 1-800-799-SAFE. And Love is Respect, a service of the National Domestic Violence Hotline. And you can call them at 866-331-9474. Again, that's 866-331-9474. You can also go to their online chat hotline provider as well. And but again, like it says here, this warning, your internet search is not completely erasable. But yeah, if you would like to know more information about RAINN, visit their website. They're open 24/7. So, any time of day you can call them. It says here in 30 years, RAINN has helped 4.5 million survivors and their loved one. And I haven't talked about this, but RAINN stands for Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. Again, RAINN is an acronym for the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. I'm hoping that I can say rape there because it is a part of their words. So YouTube, please don't like strike me or whatever with that, do an internet strike or whatever. But yeah, you can, if you want to find other ways to help, to volunteer, whatever, you can just visit RAINN's website, get in contact with them, see all the services and things like that. You can donate, all of that stuff. So check out the RAINN website for more information. And again, if you want to donate, it says right here, more than 87 cents of every dollar goes to helping survivors and preventing sexual violence. So yeah, check out RAINN as well. And I also want to give a little bit of advice for the cishet black men, the cisgender heterosexual black men. Um, Again, setting aside whether or not Shannon Sharpe is innocent or guilty. Um, from one brother to another, okay? You are not, just like it is never your fault if you are a victim of sexual violence, it is never your fault if you are falsely accused of sexual violence. That said, brothers, please stop. There's absolutely positively nothing wrong with interracial dating, right? There is nothing wrong. Like who you like, love who you love, whatever, it is what it is. However, brothers, stop putting yourselves out there in these situations where you are seen as strictly as the BBC Mandingo sexual object. If a woman If a non-black woman tells you she wants you to put a black baby in her as sexual talk, cut that off. That's not for you. And especially like looking at Shannon, like Shannon Sharpe is 50 something years old, messing with 20 something year old women that look at him as nothing but a piece of big black dick. Like, why are you dealing with somebody like that? Like, first of all, what would the ancestors say, Shannon? Because I get the distinct feeling, and again, this is bigger than Shannon, but he's the example in this case. I get the distinct feeling that he might let those white women and those other non-white or non-black women call him the N-word. I just, and if that's you, I'm sorry. I don't know how to help y'all. Okay, but like, given the history that black men in this country have gone through in terms of being over sexualized since the days of slavery and beyond, um, since the days of us getting lynched just for somebody accusing us of whistling at a white woman, just for somebody accusing us of touching a white woman, saying that we, sexually assaulted a white woman, that we just looked at them, we leered at them. How many black men have lost their lives and limbs because of that? And you out here getting with these white women and other non-black women strictly because you like somebody telling you to put a big black baby in them? Like, you want to be somebody's mandingo? You feel respected like that? That helps you get put on brick down there? Really? Really? Stop. Stop it. If you have sex with a white woman or a Latina woman or whoever, right? Asian woman, whatever. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with interracial dating, hooking up with people of a different race. None of that is wrong, right? There's no issue with that in and of itself. But when you out here letting people treat you like a big black buck, what is wrong with you? And then you're sitting there wondering how you end up in these situations. Again, you are not to blame if somebody falsely accuses you of a sexual crime. Just like a victim of a sexual crime is not to blame if somebody does that to them. However, black men, please stop putting yourself in these situations to get got. We talk a lot about, Black Wall Street, the burning of Black Wall Street right over there in Tulsa, right? Greenwood. Like, but what some of y'all may not know is that the final spark, the match, was a white woman who said that a black man touched her in the elevator. That was the thing that set all of that off. Now, obviously, did they burn down Black Wall Street for a whole bunch of other reasons? Mostly jealousy because we black people were doing better than the white people there, of course. But like, you know what happened to Emmett Till. You know what happened, or should know what happened, to be the spark that lit up Black Wall Street, right? I know y'all done seen that movie Rosewood, where a black man didn't even exist. The black man that a woman said had abused her, because Rosewood is based on the true story of Rosewood in Florida. A white woman just said, "Oh, a black man assaulted me," because she didn't want to get caught for having an affair, cheating on her white husband. So she just made up a black man, and then they went and said he assaulted her, and then the white town went and burned up the town, burned up Rosewood, killed a whole bunch of Negroes, killed a whole bunch of black people. And here you are, decades later, hundreds of years later, interacting with women, non-black women, talking about that tell you, put a big black baby in me, tie me up with a leash. That's what you're cavorting with. That's what you want to do. Brothers, stop. Stop, 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 stop. One, so many wonderful black women out here and black men, right? Because this also goes for the black LGBT community as well. You want to date someone that's not of your race, that's your business. But damn it, stop letting them objectify you like you are just your penis. All right, Newsies, that's all we got for you today. Let us know down in the comments what you think about this entire situation. What do you think about the accusations against Shannon Sharpe, about the recorded phone call between him and his accuser, Gabriela Zuniga? What do we think about just the entire situation? Let us know down in your thoughts, or let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Really trying to grow this channel and give our independent news and commentary because let's face it, we need it. Corporate media is not doing what it needs to be doing, and it hasn't been doing it for quite a long time. Uh, all that said, don't forget to follow us on social media. You can follow us at Forward Up News. Again, that's at Forward Up News. You can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, and TikTok at Forward Up News. And yeah, follow me at Skylar the Writer. And yeah, until next time, Newsies, be good to yourselves, be good to others, keep your hands to yourself. And yeah, if you can't do that, then shut the hell up. All right, y'all. Peace.
Have you been in space?
No, motherfucker, we got bills and